I want you to take this video as an invitation to cultivate your mind. Now, that's kind of a lofty term. What do I mean by that? Well, let me break it down. We live in a world where there is so much information being flung at us all the time, so much propaganda, in a sense, of there are so many companies and entities trying to sway us one way or another. And even if that might be in some ways a good thing, in terms of maybe it's a activist organization or anything of the sort, the point is that this influx of information has been combined with the fact that we don't know how to think as a society. We just don't. At school, we are not taught how to think. The thinking is assumed. We are flung from school or into school and assumed, oh, they know how to think before anything. Think about this for a second, right? You get taught subjects. You get taught math, science, English, but you're not taught how to actually learn those. You're just taught the subjects. So then when it comes to learning new things or breaking down new bits of information that come at you, we're not actually equipped to do that. So, how do we do that? How do we amass and collect information in a fair-minded way that involves us actually assessing that information and then coming up with our own opinions? How do we do that, right? Apart from just the vague notion of we have to use critical thinking, which is absolutely true. One of the ways to do this is to use a ancient method called the Trivium method. This is a medieval method which is based on classical ideas from ancient Greece and Rome, and then the Carolingian Empire used it. I won't go into the history too much, but the point is, this method has 3 stages. It has grammar, logic, and rhetoric. What do they mean? Well, grammar is basically understanding the basic facts about a subject. It's understanding the fundamentals of that subject. When people say, I'm learning a thing, they normally mean grammar, right? They mean, I'm going to watch a YouTube video or a lecture and I'm just going to write down the information that's being thrown at me. That's what they mean. That's the grammar stage. But that's only the first stage in the Trivium. The second stage is the logic method, and this is the evaluation stage. This is to ask why and how. What is the structure of this book, for example? What are the arguments? Do the arguments stack up? It's really just starting to really evaluate the work that you've been given. The third stage, and this is a stage that I think we do not really use much today, is to build on the questions that are asked in the second stage. It's to engage in dialogue. It's to communicate our thoughts with others in order to really express those ideas in a robust way where we can sort of test our thinking, right? Now, I've been reading this book called The Well-Educated Mind, and this book contends that one of the best ways to go about actually embracing the Trivium method in terms of a way that can be self-educated, that we can do ourselves, is by something called serious reading. What's that? What's serious reading? Well, serious reading isn't picking up Fourth Wing and just reading it, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but serious reading is about reading books that engage us intellectually or emotionally, often about the human condition, although it doesn't have to be, and not just reading them, but reading them in line with this Trivium method. Now, I tried to film this video before, and it didn't work because I went straight away into the benefits of doing this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the Trivium method in relation to reading a book, and then talk about the benefits afterwards. So bear with me. It'll take a little bit longer to explain the benefits, but hopefully it will make more logical sense in the long run. So when it comes to reading with the Trivium method, the first thing you want to do is to engage in the grammar stage. Now this, as you can probably imagine, does involve reading the book. But it doesn't just involve reading it from start to finish, although that's certainly a part of it. It also involves kind of actively engaging in it. It's not just a passive activity. So you can see here, you probably can't, I've highlighted bits of this book. I've also put in a question mark there because I was like, I don't know if that idea is correct, or I might have just had a thought on it. And at the same time of doing this, what I also did is I also kept a book. You want to keep a journal. And as you're going through it, what you want to do is you want to write, this is how I've done it, but you can do it in any way. You want to write what the book is, and then you want to do comments as you go of what the chapters are about, maybe quotes of particular sections you like, and also questions. You put in questions, so you're actively thinking about the book as you go. In doing this, what you're doing is you're actually internalizing the book and making it more than just a passive activity. You're actually making it your own. And this is where we come back to what we're talking about up above, which I said I skipped over this time, which is a quote from this book, which is that for someone to, I'm going to paraphrase here, but it's for someone who's seeking to know themselves, they have to seek themselves in external things, and by doing this, they'll better be able to find their inmost light. That's the terminology used. But what I take that to mean is we can better understand ourselves by engaging actively in a work of thought or fiction or idea, and then reflect on it and make it our own. So already, even in the grammar stage, when you're reading a book and you're not just writing what it is, but you're putting in quotes that are important to you, and also summarizing at the end of chapters. Every time you finish a chapter, you should summarize what that chapter was. You're starting to make the ideas your own and starting to fit them into a framework that's yours. Now let's move into the logic stage. Once you've done that, once you've written the title of the book, and you have each chapter as subheadings in your journal, with also comments and questions and little summaries of each chapter, you then have a framework that you can go through, and you can evaluate them. You can then go through and ask questions. You can ask what was the main ideas? How was this expressed? You can go back through specific sections that you might find more tricky, and you can start to really reflect on what the book was trying to say and really break it down. And to speak about making the book your own, this leads into the third stage, which is the rhetoric stage, and this is the so what stage. This is the stage where you ask, okay, how is this book supposed to make me feel? If it's a novel, what was the main ideas here? If it's non-fiction, what was the contention? Did it work? How do I feel about that? How do I react to it? And then you can express your own reasoning. You can express your own argument. And that's what I'm doing right now, in a way. This isn't really a critical take of the well-educated mind, but I'm still engaging in the rhetoric process here, because I'm communicating to you my takeaway idea, which is that if we engage in reading seriously through the Trivium method of grammar, logic, and rhetoric, we can better understand the ideas of the people who have lived in the past and the present, and then communicate them in a way that feels right to us in order to challenge our own ideas and then to better ourselves. With that being said, why don't you join me on this great exploration, really, of the human condition, in which we hopefully not only know the world better, but know ourselves better. I didn't touch on this, but doing this, especially if you do what the book recommends, and you read lots of great works of literature in chronological order, you're also engaging in what's called the great conversation. You're engaging in a continuous sort of discussion about these ideas that have gone on for a millennia, right? You're talking almost to and with these great thinkers from the past, and then coming up with your new ideas, and then through the rhetoric stage contributing to that conversation. In this way, engaging in a book in a serious way is more than just reading it. You're engaging in an ancient tradition and being part of a global community. I know that sounds crazy, but that's really what this is about. That's what's going on here. So, going forward, because this is really also an introduction video for this channel, what I'm going to be doing in this channel, this so-called spirit of renaissance, spirit of rebirth, spirit of thinking, of inquiry, of ideas, and a way of being, is I'm going to be reading these books, reading a bunch of books. I'm going to be reading The Courage to be Disliked. I'm going to be reading Humanly Possible. I'm going to be reading How to Win an Argument by Cicero. I'm going to be reading The Science of Storytelling. Why? Because all those books interest me, really. That's the obvious and true answer. But I'm going to be reading those, and I'm then going to be going through the Trivium method and talking to you about them. Perhaps sometimes it will be directly about the ideas in the book in a very much a this is what the book's about kind of way. Other times I might do the grammar and logic method behind closed doors, well, off camera, and then I will come to you with an idea. Already in Humanly Possible, which I've got over there. I know you can't see it, but it's a book about humanism. The idea of connection is a thing that really interests me. Connection between humans and who we are and what drives us. And that might be a video about connection and the importance of that. The point is, this video, I made this for two reasons. One, as an introduction to tell you what I'm going to be doing in this channel, which is to engage in ideas through the Trivium method. And two, to invite you to do the same. To invite you to cultivate your mind, to engage in critical thought, to ask questions, to be part of an ancient tradition, and to better yourself and also the world at large by being part of this great conversation. I hope you will join me, and I really hope so, because I'd love to have discussions with you. I might start a Discord, and then we could discuss about these books together. So, with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and yes, I hope you join me. Have a wonderful day.